shot to get stuff going, and then we'll talk about the cannon and we'll shoot it again.
You gotta cover your ears.
Cover your ears. Ready? Yeah. Fire. So, and that's a small cannon. Exactly. This one is not a big cannon. Most of the cannons that would have been in Fort Mifflin would have been enormous. In fact, all the mounts you see along the wall are each for a cannon during around the Civil War, which would have been firing something in the neighborhood like a 40-pound projectile. Now, cannons come in all shapes and sizes. This particular one is a signal gun. It is mainly intended to make noise. Fire it off in the morning to get everybody up, fire it at night to send everybody to sleep, fire it off for the 4th of July, fire it to stop ships from coming, basically just to make noise to signify different things. And while a cannonball would not usually come out of something on this kind of mount and this kind of design, cannons played a huge role here at Fort Mifflin throughout the course of its active service. This is an artillery fort. It is intended to mount lots of cannons to block the Delaware River. The idea is, of course, if any shipping comes up, Fort Mifflin should be able to sink it. Nevertheless, doesn't matter if you have a lot of cannons in here if the enemy has more in better positions. And that's kind of what happens in 1777 during the siege of Fort Mifflin. The British will be forced, because the garrison won't surrender, to surround the fort with 250 cannons and bombard it for a day. They figured in the first half hour about 1,000 cannonballs go into Fort Mifflin. They would have also been firing other things out of different kinds of artillery pieces. They would have been firing bombs, carcass shot, which are flaming shot. They would have been firing grape shot, which are tons of little iron balls that spray out like a shotgun shell. Cannons are very versatile in what they can do. Cannons especially are designed to take that shot and put it out a good distance. These are intended for your cannonball to travel a long ways. Regardless of the size of your cannon, though, the loading process is pretty much the same, and that all starts with cleaning the cannon. So the first tool we use is called a worm. And the worm is a screw on the end of the stick, and it goes down the barrel, and it hooks on any little bits of burning debris so that we can pull them out of the cannon. Who can tell me what happens if I load a live cannon charge onto a live spark? Anybody? Exactly, it explodes on you. We don't want that. Joe certainly doesn't want that. I don't want that. Don't do that. So we want to make sure we grab any little bits of burning. Like my hands. He does. To make sure we got any sparks, we take the sponge, which is just wool wrapped around the end of a stick, and we dunk it in a bucket of water and we run it down the barrel. Once we're fairly confident that we've extinguished any sparks inside, we should feel safe to insert the next cannon charge. As you can imagine, you want to keep your cannon charged a little bit back from your cannon because you don't want an accidental spark setting off the entire box of cannon charges. But much like a musket, this cannon is a muzzle loader. It loads through the front or muzzle end of the cannon. You all right? Now, that being said, usually these cannon charges would have been wrapped in cloth. We use tin foil today because tin foil does not spark and it does not smolder. Insert that into the cannon. Take the other end of the worm. See the charge. Make sure that's packed down nice and tight. All right. Now the problem is, the gunpowder and historically the shot are now rammed down the barrel, but we need some way to ignite them. So we have a small hole at the back called the vent hole. We take a brass pick, you run it through the vent, and that rips open the cannon cartridge, exposing the gunpowder and allowing us to put in a priming tube. Now, this one is made out of the bendy straw. Obviously not historically accurate. However, this kind of priming tube was period correct if it were made out of the correct materials. Historically, the British Royal Artillery would have used tin tubes or quill tubes, but regardless, this tube of gunpowder connects the inside and the outside of the cannon. And that will allow Joe to ignite it with the linstock. The linstock is burning smoke match, burning soap. And there you have it.
Now, it's only two of us, but a large cannon like that would have 8 men. They'd be doing this whole thing while people were firing at them.
The expectation for a good cannon crew is you should be able to get your gun firing every 30 seconds or so. There is a record of a Hessian gun crew firing celebratory shots for the King's birthday that was averaging a shot every 6 seconds
That's ridiculous.
during the American Revolution. But that's why you train. If you're not training, you run the risk of these cannons not functioning efficiently. So that 8-man crew would each have a position. One would be handling the charge, one would be sponging, one would be ramming, one would be worming, one would be thumb stalling. And so if you only have to do one thing, you can practice doing that thing very well. With that being said, if you guys have any questions,